you think of yourself now as California Sober. Like, please tell me what the fuck California Sober is.
K-Rugs, the sober dog. A little bit different video today. Demi Lovato, California Sober. I got some clips and I'm going to break it down in my perspective and let you guys know what I think about what she said about being California sober. Let's get into it.
At the end of the day, my head on my pillow, do I feel good about the choices I'm making? And do I stand strong in my beliefs? Yes. Then I'm not going to let what someone in Idaho has to say about what I'm doing today.
Well,
I gotta agree with her 100% on this first part. Her recovery is her recovery. How she wants to do it is totally up to her. And I get that she's a celebrity and that she influences people. But at the end of the day, whatever's working for her to not do heroin is what's working for her. There's a lot of people who would say, you know, whatever she's doing is better than Suboxone or Methadone. I'm not going to get into that whole argument, but whatever's working is working for her. So she's got to be happy with herself. Like she just said, she puts her head on the pillow at the end of the night. I agree with that.
people want absolutes, right? Whether it comes to recovery from drugs and alcohol or whether it comes from anything. They don't want you to deviate from the path, and they want you to always be helpless in the face of your addictions, right? This is the thought process behind a lot of the 12-step programs, that you're helpless in the face of your addictions.
Joe, I love you. I love your show, but you are wrong on that one. It is not helpless. It is powerless. Big difference. And what they teach in 12 steps, I'm a big 12-stepper, that before I have that first drink or first drug, I'm not powerless. I have choices. I can make the choice to call my sponsor, to do other things before I pick up. Once I pick up that first drink or drug, I become totally powerless because it literally creates a reaction in a person like myself. I have had this happen to me before. I didn't believe it when I first went to the programs about once you put that first one in you, all bets are off. That first drink is what gets you drunk. All those old sayings. I did this. I had a game plan. I was going to buy one bag and get high. To the second that I did that first bag and got high, every plan I had made for the previous 6 hours, the amount of money I was going to spend, how long I was going to use, went out the window. It was like somebody totally just hypnotized me, took over mind control, and next thing you know, thousands of dollars, and days later, I'm being forced to stop. So with somebody like myself, it is powerless once we start that. This is the same reason why somebody like myself will look at another person who drinks a half a glass of wine and leaves it. My brain literally does not comprehend that. My brain does not comprehend drinking for taste, drinking a little bit. The only thing my brain comprehends is alcohol is for getting as messed up as possible. Why? I don't know. But back to the beginning, it's not helpless. I am powerless over drugs and alcohol, especially once I put that first one in, but not helpless and not hopeless.
I don't know if that's true. I have never had a drug or an alcohol addiction. I've never had that kind of a compulsion, so I don't know. But what I read about you is that you think of yourself now as Calfornia Sober. Like, please tell me what the fuck Calfornia Sober is.
I saw the smile on your face like start to form, and it just made me so happy.
Demi's got that crazy laugh.
All right. Well, so part of my process now is like not defining the parameters publicly because I don't feel like it's anybody's business but me and my treatment team.
Totally agree. Bunch of people online were talking shit about that, saying, you know, she influences a lot of people. She's got to do it this way or that way. Sorry, I'm a big privacy person. I'm a big fan of people's choice. Totally agree. It is up to her whether she wants to talk about it, not talk about it, how she does it, how she doesn't do it. Totally agree.
But It's a term that a lot of people use to identify this path of moderation with the help of some green plants. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And so green is the key word. Mm-hmm. And
all the videos that came out, well, not all of them, a couple of them that came out in the beginning about her, you know, people that were kind of pissed at her for saying that, they put alcohol in there too. They said, Demi said she's California sober, she drinks and smokes in moderation. To me, there's a huge difference between alcohol and weed in recovery. I personally don't smoke pot. It's not good for my recovery. I know that it's not that it's a gateway drug to me. It's a gateway lifestyle drug to me, meaning, you know, I'll do a whole video on that and explain it, but it just starts getting me out of my recovery. It doesn't, when I have 5 beers or 8 beers, I want to go buy a bag of Coke. If I smoke a blunt, I don't want to buy a bag of Coke, but there's all these small decisions that aren't good that I start making. Anyway, so to me, that is a monster difference because alcohol in recovery, I've never seen it work out well. I'm sure there's a case here or there, but usually never. Weed, there is a lot of people and a lot of science. It is helping, and there's certain things that can help, and that it really doesn't lead back to harder stuff in many cases. I'm not promoting it. I am not saying it's good for people in recovery. I don't use it. I would not encourage others to, but I do know and have firsthand experience and see it all the time that there's a monster difference between weed and alcohol in recovery.
Now, do you find that this green stuff makes you more relaxed in dealing with the anxieties of life, or like what's
the green stuff is weed. We'll just like
that's what I assumed.
Just get it out there. It's weed.
Yeah, we'll just like call it what it is. Yeah, it's something that, you know, it helps, and it also like is something that you can use for different things. It helped me learn how to meditate at first. You know, it was a lot easier to smoke a little bit and then meditate than it was to just go in with just like the most clear mind.
I can't relate to that. When I smoke pot, I get paranoid as...
It helped me build a relationship with meditation to where I don't need it to meditate anymore. You know, there's benefits to it. And I think there's also just a sense of security in knowing that, that even if I'm having a bad night and I turn to that's not going to kill me.
Right.
You know?
I can agree. I could see that. That's the harm reduction model. You know, basically, harm reduction, for anyone that may not know, is like, it's the MAT meds too, medication-assisted treatment, like Suboxone, methadone. These aren't great things. They're still like opioids, you know, they're partial opioids, but it's still a lot better to have to take Suboxone every day than to go out and shoot dope on the street. Is Suboxone great for you? No. Is it still addicting? Yes. Can it be abused? Yes. But again, it's still better than shooting dope every day, and you kind of, you take one piece at a time. So smoking weed is better than shooting heroin every day. There's a lot less chance of dying. There's a lot less chance of, you know, a lot of different things. That's the harm reduction model, and I can understand that. Again, I don't follow it. I'm not saying I don't follow any harm reduction. I'm saying this case, I don't smoke pot, but to her.
But I do know people that have gotten addicted to weed, you know.
And that's something to be mindful of for sure. But it's
not a physical addiction, no. It's not an addiction like alcohol or benzos or coke or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's an impulse. It's a psychological addiction. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for some people it's a physical addiction, like really, really rare. But for most people, there's nothing happens when you get off it. There's no withdrawals.
Yeah.
I would disagree, Joe. There's definitely withdrawals. I would say their psychological withdrawal is kind of like he's saying a lot more. But there's physical stuff too. A lot of people, when they stop smoking pot, they get insomnia. They get kind of like, not extreme muscle twitches, but they can get muscle stuff going on. They have a lot of digestive issues because, you know, just like coming off any substance, your body's trying to learn how to cope and regulate without this substance you've been using all day, every day for, you know, years. So I know digestion's a big one. Appetite, there can definitely be physical things.
Yeah. I think that it's something to be like mindful of, just like anything new in my life. I have a treatment team that I run things by. So
You run weed by them?
yeah,
What'd they say?
whatever, you know, I went to treatment for like a relapse. I relapsed in 2019.
This is big. Her relapse was bad. Public, bad for yeah.
And it was heavy.
And it was a heavy one.
Well,
Yeah.
explain to everybody what you went through, because it's like it sounds normal,
Yeah.
but you almost died.
So I overdosed on heroin and crack. The heroin was laced with fentanyl. And
Speedball. You guys know I talk about speedballs a lot. Doesn't just have to be IV coke. Crack, the same thing. Speedball. One's telling your heart, crank up, crank up. The other one's telling your heart to slow down, slow down. Our body's in disaster during speedball.
I OD'd in 2018. And that experience was a near-death experience for me. The doctors told me I had 5 to 10 minutes before it was too late. When they found me, I was blue. There was blood. And I had 3 strokes, a heart attack, and multiple organ failure.
That's the effects of OD.
And I still have brain damage from it. And
What kind of brain damage?
so I have blind spots in my vision, and I also had hearing loss from everything.
There's so many little effects that can linger, even, you know, hopefully the person gets brought back, but all those little effects can linger. Oh, man.
So normally you see everything? Like you see everything in front of you right now?
No.
No.
So even like your face, I see your eyeballs. When I'm looking at your eyes, I see your eyes, but I don't see your nose, your mouth, or even your microphone.
What do you see? This part?
It looks like I looked at the sun. For the first few months, like I couldn't read out of a book. I was so hard to, like, tweezing my eyebrows, couldn't do that at first.
How do you live?
How do you live? Exactly. My brows are extremely important to me, so that was a
look
huge thing.
Fabulous.
Thank you so
Let me tell
much.
you.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job, whatever you
Thank
could see.
Thank you.
How do you live without tweezing your brows? Jeez. But that's all the damage, man. That's crazy. Heart attack, stroke, blindness, couldn't read, all that stuff. Like, we just think of OD as death or the person comes back, but there is major complications that happened, and her whole story is crazy. But that's kind of my take on it. Again, I don't smoke weed. I don't use it for my recovery. I don't encourage people to, but I don't judge others who do. Alcohol, I kind of think, is a whole different story, but that's my opinion on California Sober. Let me know what you guys think of this video, this type of video. All right, K-Rugs, the Sober Dog, and I'm out. See ya. Hey, hey.